a fireman with the department right here that's attached to our LAPD station. This is Fireman Riley. He's going to tell us a little bit about his background, probably show us around the station a little bit, and you guys will be able to ask some questions like we normally do. So welcome, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and please show your respect and support to our local firemen, and let's get into listening to a story, okay?
Hey, Cap. Hey,
So,
how's it going, guys?
Go ahead, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing well today.
Thank you for joining our chat. Thank you for being here with our kids and being available to help mold the minds of the youth of today.
Absolutely, anytime. Come on by anytime.
Awesome, awesome. So let's start off with you. Give us your name. Tell us where you grew up and what you were interested in while you were growing up.
All right. Well, my name is Firefighter Riley. I was actually born out in the desert, but ended up moving to LA early on and grew up in actually Highland Park. And I've been here at this fire station for about 3 years. I've been on the fire department for about 13 years. I've always wanted to be a firefighter since, I don't know, as long as I can remember, since about 5th grade on. So here I am now living my dream.
Awesome. So you said the desert. You grew up in the desert. What desert is that?
Near Palm Springs.
Oh, wow. Wow. A little ways from home, huh?
Yeah, I come from a military background. My dad was in the Marine Corps, and then after high school, I went to the Marine Corps and then became a firefighter.
Marine Corps is the best branch, right?
You know it is.
We try to tell Lee that all the time, but he gets upset when we tell him. But you're right. You're right.
Hey, firefighter, keep in mind that's coming from a guy that never served a day in his life besides soft serve life.
So firefight. You called yourself firefighter. Is it firefighter, fireman? Is there a difference in the terminology?
Yeah, so on the Los Angeles City Fire Department, we have both men and women that serve as firefighters. So we use the all-inclusive term of firefighter.
Great. And there's a difference between firefighter and rescue ambulance guy. What are they called?
So everybody's actually a firefighter, but the ones that are on the ambulance, we have paramedics as well. And they are also firefighters, and they rotate on the fire trucks, the fire engines, and then we have ambulances in the background as well.
Awesome, awesome. So the little ones are the paramedics truck, right?
Yeah, the smaller ones are going to be the ambulances. That's where the 2 paramedics or the 2 EMTs ride.
Okay. And the education between, or the academy or the learned experience is different to work on a fire engine and then the ambulance?
So we're all able to at least ride on the EMT ambulance and the trucks and engines once we go through the academy. But some members actually will get a little bit more education so that they can become paramedics if they weren't already paramedics before getting on the job.
Great. Take us through that a little bit. You said that you grew up, you wanted to be a fireman. You said you had the military in your background. Why is it that you wanted to be a fireman? Why not a police officer or a parachuter? I don't know. Why a fireman?
You know, I'm not too sure. There wasn't a definitive moment that jumps out at me where I wanted to be a firefighter. But as far as I can remember, about 5th grade, it kind of stuck with me. I remember when I was a little kid, my brothers and I lit a tree on fire, and part of our punishment was we had to wash the fire trucks. I don't know, maybe that was
it. You lit a tree on fire and you became a fireman. That's the definition of irony right there. That's the exact definition of irony. So the academy, take us through that a little bit. What's the academy like?
So the academy is, let's see, 5 months long, and it's 4 days a week, and we'll show up about 5 in the morning, and we won't leave until anywhere from 4 or 5 p.m. And sometimes we'll be there on Saturdays as well. But they're 40-hour work weeks, and we're there nonstop. We do get paid to be there. It's a low salary, but we do get paid the entire time that we are there.
And is there a bare minimum of physical requirements that they expect of you? A certain number of push-ups, a certain number of sit-ups, jumping jacks, whatever it may be?
There isn't a certain amount per se, but we do have to be in top physical shape as we're working out every day that we are at the academy.
So Miguel is one of our students who's in the martial arts program, and he's pretty good on push-ups. So he doesn't have to do a number of push-ups, a specific number of push-ups to be a fireman?
No, but if he wants to come and visit, we can do a push-up challenge.
Oh.
It sounds like he's calling out someone right there.
Miguel, he's talking to you directly.
Miguel.
So great. So then walk us through what happens after that. You go through the academy.
So after you go through a 5-month academy, then you have 1 year of probation, where you'll go to a truck house, an engine house, and then an ambulance house, which is called an 800 house. If you see behind me, this is the truck. They're the ones that'll go on top of the burning building, open up a hole, and let out all the smoke, superheated gases, and fire. And then the smaller one over here, we come off to the side, will be the fire engine. The fire engine is where the members will go inside of the house, inside of the burning building, and they'll put the fire out with all the fire hoses.
Wow. So at the beginning, tell me, like, you said that you could ride in all 3 of them, right?
Correct.
So how do you know at the beginning of your shift, the beginning of your day, where you're going to ride and which engine you're going to be on? Walk us through that process.
So we have a roster that we start out with in the morning, and on that roster it'll show exactly what place or what spot that you're riding or the position that you're riding in for the day. So for example, for me, I'm riding in the tiller bucket, which is, if you ever seen a long truck with a big ladder on top, in the very back, the person that drives in the back, that's where I am.
Which is going to be in this back seat in the little tiny compartment up there.
Wow.
And can you tell us exactly what you're driving? Because I'm sure the kids see that all the time, and they're probably curious.
They can't really see it, but there's a steering wheel back here, and down there, those wheels, we actually turn those wheels so that we can go around a corner pretty fast.
These wheels down here.
Oh.
Do you want to take the camera so you can show them that, or do you want me to?
Yeah, Murta, one of the kids had asked, so if you don't mind.
See, so this is the inside. This is my steering wheel, and I just get to look at a ladder down the side.
Wow, super cool. Super cool. I don't think Rosa Parks would be appreciative of you riding in the back of the fire truck, but it's still super cool. So is there a preferred position, or is there a position where people get assigned and they say, oh, dang, I didn't want to be assigned that? Is there one that people don't like to be assigned to?
I would say we all came on the job to fight fire in one way or another. So everybody likes to be on the truck or in the engine, but not necessarily everybody likes to drive the ambulance, because they're not necessarily going in and putting the fire out. But we do still get a chance to help out people.
Amen. Amen. Really important. That's really important. So I'll let any of the kids have any questions right now. I'll let you guys ask before we go on and cover anything more.
I think Miguel has a question.
Go ahead, Miguel.
Here, I'll let you see. And this is Miguel.
All right, what do you got, Miguel?
Do you guys go through it whenever, let's say, if there's an emergency, do you guys just go through the pole?
Yeah, so we actually, at this fire station, it's a 2-story. So not all fire stations are 2 stories, but this one is. And so if we walk over this way.
Miguel, make them go down the pole.
That's the pole, and I'll come down right now. Let me just open the doors.
Whoa.
I think I know what my challenge is going to be, to go down the pole, and then for Riley to put on his gear in record time. That's going to be my challenge. So kids, don't try this at home, but Riley will be coming down in a few seconds. Let's see. So I'll have,
You guys ready?
like, can you guys spot them? There you go.
Oh, I see.
That's a short, right? But that's good.
So that's how we get down from the second floor. That's how we get down from the second floor all the way back down to the first when we're in a hurry. If not, we have to take the stairs, but it's much faster if we take the pole.
So explain to us what happens right before you get on the pole. What are you doing on the second floor? What's going on up there, and why are you coming down that?
So upstairs, that's where we sleep. Downstairs, we have our like living room, our office, our kitchen, but everything upstairs is where we sleep.
So in the middle of the night, you can get that alarm, that the ringing bell goes off, and you guys have to jump up out of your bed, get dressed a little bit.
So we got to jump out of bed. We're usually in shorts and a t-shirt, and we have our running shoes next to us. So we'll put those on, come downstairs, and then we run over to the fire truck or the fire engine, and then we'll get ready and we'll get dressed to go.
I saw earlier, you showed me earlier where the equipment is, like the locker rooms that are outside. Can we look at that?
Yeah, we come on, walk over here. We'll walk this way around the truck.
That's where you store the gear, I assume, your guys' personal gear?
If we're not working or we're going home, we store our personal gear over there. But when we come to work and we get here, grab our personal gear and we put it on the fire truck or fire or on the ambulance.
Hey, Joyce. No, that's okay. I'm sorry. I called more than once. I thought I called.
They have a washer and dryer and an industrial one.
So when we go home, when I go home, I usually put my stuff in here. But when I come to work, I come here and I grab my stuff and I take it over to the fire truck and I bring it all over here. So, like I said, for me today, I'm up there, my stuff's over here, and my helmet's up there. And then this is all my gear.
So it's basically boots, pants, your
Boots,
jacket.
pants. We have a hood that covers our head so we don't get burned. And then we have our jacket as well.
And kiddos, pay attention to how he puts his boots and his pants. They're pretty much ready to just jump on in and go. Do you want to take off your burn? No.
Please don't get
Yeah, it is.
undressed in camera.
You know,
Please don't.
I know, right? You know how your parents tell you not to put your pants up all rolled up? Oh, this is how he does it. This is a cheat way.
So we put on our boots, and then our pants go over our clothes.
Wow.
What we wear throughout the day. And this is just to help protect us inside of a fire so we don't get burned. Then we have this hood, goes over our head, covers our neck, and we put on our jacket as well. Once our jacket's on, we have zipper.
Do you do that before you actually get up on there, or you do it as you're coming up?
Before I get up there, I usually will suit up down here, and then I get ready to go, and I go up there.
Okay. But
And
the
then
zipper.
whenever we go to a fire, this is how we go.
Cool.
That was done rather quickly. What's the normal amount of time that that a fireman needs to put his equipment on?
So you're required to be able to get fully suited up in 60 seconds.
Wow.
Who's the fastest here?
Ooh, I'm not too sure, but I'm gonna take a wild guess and say me.
I figured you'd say that.
Go ahead, Alberto.
He doesn't think so over
That's
there.
the driver, and I think he's challenging me to a
I think we
race.
need to have a challenge right
That's
here.
what he just said.
Did you guys hear that? He doesn't want to make him look bad in front of the kids. I
Alberto,
think
go ahead
we
with your
might
question.
be able to coax him into it.
Alberto, go ahead and ask.
You have a question from Alberto.
All right,
Are
Roberto, what do you got?
firefighters messy?
Are they messy? Well, some of them are, but
Because my mom says that you can't leave clothes in the floor.
so we don't have clothes on the floor, but our turnouts, which is what we put on, I just put on just a minute ago, we leave them right here so that we're able to put them on really fast.
Oh.
And then Alberto, if you can see his coworker, also fireman. What's your name, sir? What's your name, sir? Fireman Chris here. He's actually cleaning the truck. He's been cleaning it the whole time. So they're very clean when it comes to that. Well, at least the trucks, right? All right. So back to Riley, who's getting dressed.
Brother Riley explained to me earlier today that they have an inspection coming up in 4 days. Talk to us about the inspection and when you guys start getting ready.
Yeah, so we have an inspection where the chief will actually walk through all of our quarters and make sure that everything's nice and clean, because you're asking if we were messy, and we have to keep our station really clean. So the last 3 days, we've just been cleaning the entire fire station to include the fire truck, the engine, and the ambulances as well.
And so Alberto, no, they're not messy at all. Brother Riley, when the rescue ambulance comes out, we call it rescue ambulance, RA. When it comes out to a scene, somebody's down on the street, they normally go through a procedure where they take their scissors out, they cut off the clothes. Can you talk us through why they do that and why?
Yes. So sometimes when maybe somebody's crossing the street or they're in a car accident and they're badly injured, we're not able to see the extent of their injuries unless we're able to cut off their pants and cut off their shirt and actually expose them to see if anything's wrong. Immediately after that, after we're able to take care of any wounds, if anybody has any cuts or broken bones, then we'll go ahead and grab a sheet and cover them to make sure that that they're comfortable as well.
So your protocol is to cut anything, new Jordans, new Nike sweatsuit, no matter what it is, your protocol is to cut it off, huh?
Yeah, all of it goes.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Lee, did you have something?
Yeah. So the kids, you were talking about the cleaning of the trucks. Can you tell them how you guys do it? Because they're always spick and span, and I'm sure these kids are wondering some little details of how to help better clean around their house and little tricks of the trade.
Yeah, so if we walk over here, actually, we have a dirty and a clean towel. So what we'll do is we'll grab one of these towels here, and then we have some spray wax. We'll grab this wax over here. After we're done eating dinner for the day, we'll come over and as a group, we'll spray down the rig, make sure everything looks good, and wipe every single day so that the next morning when the other people get here and they come and take our shift or take over our shift, the rig's nice and clean.
What's the solution that you're using? Because I noticed you're not using water, you're using the solution in the rag method.
So normally we use water, but we also put some of our own money together so that we could actually take care of the rigs a little bit better. So we'll actually put a spray wax on it.
And it smells good.
It smells like bubble gum.
Yes, it does.
And then aside from that, we'll also clean the wheels with just like a window cleaner. Right now they're a little dusty because we've been running all day, and we'll finish cleaning it later on today. But other than that, we just continue to wipe away.
Alberto has a quick question for us. Go ahead, Alberto.
I have a question about the messy thing. What happens if you're messy, but the chief sees that you guys are messy? What happens?
Well, then you got to clean it again, and then the chief has to come back in and re-inspect.
Oh.
Nobody gets in trouble. Nobody has to go down the pole.
Nobody gets in trouble, but now you have to own, and
Mm-hmm.
now you're held accountable and responsible for that dirty mess. So you have to come back and clean it up.
Just like a second chance.
You get a second chance. Exactly.
Eker, go ahead with your question. You're next. Go ahead, Eker.
How do your clothes protect you?
What's that?
How do your clothes protect you?
Good question.
Oh, so our clothes protect us. So like you saw, I put a hood on earlier. This is going to cover my whole head. It's going to cover my neck. It has void spaces in between the material. There's several pieces of fabric here that create a layer so that we don't get burned. Same thing like on our jacket. Our jacket's made out of 3 different layers. We have the outer shell, we have the moisture barrier, and then we have a thermal barrier that helps protect us and not get burned. So we're just building up different layers, and that gives us a little bit of a safety zone or timeline before we do get burned. So we try not to be exactly or directly in fire.
So Brother Riley, with that equipment, could you walk through fire? how much fire could you walk through or be exposed to before it affects your suit?
We can, but I don't know this particular or the specific time. But if we need to get through fire, we could get through a ball of fire rather quickly. We can't just stand there in the fire the entire time because eventually this will burst.
You're like a superhero. You can walk through fire. That's amazing.
Yeah, and
that's
then
super cool.
Usually we wear a mask as well, and our mask, that's usually one of the first things to start failing. The plastic will actually start melting, and we won't be able to breathe because this is how we breathe in a fire with our Scba as well.
Can you explain what the Scba is to the kids?
Yeah, we'll come on over here and we'll take a look at it. So for me, just kind of like scuba diving, a scuba diver will have a tank of air on their back, and they'll also have a mask so that they can continue to breathe. So for me on my truck, this is our Scba, which is a self-contained breathing apparatus. So there's air in here that'll last anywhere from 30 minutes to 45 minutes, depending on how fast you breathe. So when I put it on, it goes on my back, and it's actually rather heavy. It's 38 pounds. So I'll carry this on my back when I have all my gear on. I'll put it on just like a seatbelt, and when I turn it on, this right here will actually clip into my mask. So I'll go grab my mask and I'll show you.
So while he's grabbing his mask, you said your tank weighs about 38, and I know someone had a question. How much does your whole uniform or your whole gear weigh?
All of my gear could be anywhere from about 75 pounds to about 100 pounds. Wow. That's my pants, my jacket, my boots, everything that's inside of my my jacket, and then also the Scba as well. And then we also carry axes.
It's a lot of weight, guys. And I'm complaining about my 35 pounds on me.
And then we're able to breathe as well. And then I can talk just like this. I have a little voice amplification system, and you can hear me better.
So he's like Bane.
Out of a fire, that's how we're able to breathe. And then when we want to turn it off, we'll just disconnect, and then we'll take our mask off.
Pretty good.
Go ahead, Alberto.
The mask looks funny. It looks like an elephant.
Yeah, so it's kind of like an elephant. Elephants drink water out of their trunks. Instead, we actually get air out of our trunks, and they'll just go like that.
So
how often do you have to replace?
What's that?
Oh, sorry. How often do you have to replace the tanks?
So every 30 to 45 minutes of work, we'll replace it. When it gets to a third, we'll get a low alarm, and then that's when we know that we need to replace it, and it'll start alarming, and then we replace the bottom and go back in.
Do you guys have some spare in your engine?
We do have spare bottles on our truck. They're right over here. I'll show you right now.
Sorry, Lear, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No worries. Good question, by the way.
So if we need to replace our bottles, we have more bottles in here, and that's where we keep them on the truck. So if you look at the truck's just basically one big toolbox. You were talking about cutting clothes off for a medical run. We actually carry medical equipment on the truck as well. So give me 1 second. I just got to turn off my alarm.
Oh, we got to hear y'all.
Hugo, are you there?
Yes.
Do you have a question?
No.
Okay.
Nice
So Brother Riley, does somebody come by and calibrate most of the equipment, the tanks, the whatever breathing apparatus?
So they don't come here to calibrate them or inspect them, but what we do is we have a shop that's near downtown LA, and they'll actually go and do all of that there when we send them in.
Got it. So what? Go ahead.
So for your Scba tanks, you keep extra on the truck, but do you guys like fill them up weekly at the station? How does that work for you guys and make sure you have enough?
Some stations are different, and some stations are actually equipped with a refilling station, and so we'll either take them there. Here at this station, we don't have a refill, but what we do is we do have spare bottles. We have a rack of all the extra ones here. And so when all of this gets diminished and we need to replace them, we'll take them and we'll put them in a truck and we'll drive down to another fire station and we'll go and exchange them.
What is the smaller little tank?
The smaller green tanks that are right here are oxygen tanks, so that when we go on a medical call, we could give somebody oxygen that's maybe having a difficult time breathing.
Wow.
Importance to the kid of the SCBA when you're actually fighting a fire, why you guys wear those? If you didn't.
So when we're actually fighting fire, we put the SCBA on so that we could breathe. Because if you've ever been around a campfire, it's really hard to breathe if you're breathing in all of that smoke.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes the smoke and the fire, it evaporates, sucks the air out of a room. You know, if you're in a room, it'll suck all the air out of there. And if there's no oxygen in there, you guys would get lightheaded, pass out, and then we'd have to.
We don't want to become part of the problem or the incident.
Absolutely. Let's go back a little bit. So your shift, talk about your shift a little bit. You arrive to your shift on a Sunday night, a Sunday morning. Talk about how long your shift is and normally what the shift comprises of.
Yeah, so normally our shifts are 24 hours and we work 3 out of 9 days. And so for us, we know our whole schedule for the whole month and we know our whole schedule for the whole year. We'll work 1 day on, 1 day off, 1 day on, 1 day off, 1 day on, then we get 4 days off. And then that 9-day stretch repeats itself. So for example, for me and everybody here that started this morning, we started at 5:30 in the morning and we won't get off until tomorrow about 5:30 to 6:30 in the morning. So we also sleep here.
So even though you're sleeping, you're still technically working. And if, like you talked about before, if that alarm goes off, if you get a call, somebody will come and slap you, tell you to wake up, and
yeah. So if you don't wake up, somebody will either get on the PA or the sound system, or they'll come and wake you up if you still don't hear it. But yeah, the alarm goes off, get out of bed, you run down here, you put your stuff on, and you go.
That's awesome. That's awesome. What's the camaraderie like at a house, at the station? What's it like being, cooped up with a bunch of guys in a room for 4-day stretches? What's that like?
So the long stretches, they get to be quite fun. Sometimes we actually get to work at other stations, just depending on where they need us during the long stretches. And even times we get to stay at our own station. For example, this is my fire station. This is where I'm assigned. But I've also worked at other stations throughout our area. It can be a lot of fun. Sometimes you can get tired and you just get sleepy, or maybe you don't want to talk. Everybody kind of deals with it a little bit differently. But we do play a lot of jokes on each other.
So what are some of the fun things that you guys get to do? Do you get to work out? Do you get to play any sports?
Yeah, if we walk on this way, it might be a little bright outside, so we'll walk through the door first. But we actually have a little gym here at our station.
Okay, Alberto, you're next with your question. You're next.
Can we have a tour in the fighter house?
Wait, let's let him. He's going to show us right now. Hold on, Alberto.
Oh.
A little bit. Can you hear us okay, dear?
Yes, ma'am. I think we just lost you. So what's happening now is he's going through the gym.
Court.
Echo.
And we get to play handball.
Yeah, Officer Alcaraz, we have to leave that area. We're not getting good reception. But boys and girls, what I thought he was trying to show you guys was the racquetball area where they can play racquetball. They got a gym in there where they can lift weights. They also got a basketball court outside. They can play basketball. So imagine getting to do all those things while being paid, while being at work. It's pretty cool, right?
Are we back on? Can you guys hear us?
We can hear you. We can hear you. We can't see you yet, but there you go.
There we go. Okay. All right. He's picking up a little bit. Let me just set it up.
Okay. We lost you when you went in the gym.
Yes. I had a round of racquetball I played. That was a I got like 5 seconds. I could do this.
So then the other thing that we have is we have a basketball court as well. Aside from our handball, our gym, our basketball. Upstairs, we have another cardio room where we have our treadmills and we have our bikes as well.
Brother Riley, I don't know if you could see the screen, but Hugo's got some fire trucks in his background as this cyber background. Can you see it?
Where's that?
Can you see Hugo? Scroll over to Hugo.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Oh, we can look at my fire station. We go on the front if you want.
Yeah,
we'll
sure.
Go to the front. We'll show you the front of our station.
Hugo said, let's do it. I like your background, Hugo. Very cool.
Thank
Have
you.
you always had it, or is it just for today?
Oh, this is like
No?
number 5. He keeps switching it up on us.
Oh, really?
Little
So
doggy.
this is the front of our fire station.
Whoa.
See, we even have a dog too.
Doggy.
Whoa.
What's his name? Our hero? Let's see.
Brother Riley?
Wider.
Are we losing them again?
Yeah.
That's their fire station.
Okay, guys, while they figure out the.
Whenever we get a call, this is exactly what it sounds like. If you can hear the lady talking over the. And so if we keep walking this way, we'll see the 2 paramedics on the ambulance. They're going to grab themselves and put all their stuff in the rig, and they'll get going as well. When they leave, they just wear a normal uniform just like this, unless it's a fire-related call. But since it's a medical call, they're just going to stay in their uniform. Since we are cleaning today, we're a little bit slower only because we have to put all of our stuff away and put it back on the rig and get ready to go. So you'll see them here leaving shortly.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Hugo.
Can we see the pole?
You want to see the pole?
Yeah.
Let's
The one
see
I slid down earlier?
Yeah.
All right,
So-
it's right
so-
over there. Nobody's coming
so-
down it right now because nobody's upstairs.
Brother Riley, let me ask you, there's 2 doors, one on the east side, one on the west side. What determines which door you go out of and who leaves which area?
So we have 2 sets of doors. The front doors, which is the front of the fire station, would be on the east side, and the back doors would be on the west side.
And what determines which one you use?
So the east side doors are for all the larger apparatus, like the fire engine and the fire truck. There's another fire engine over there, and then this one is a specialized truck that we use for things like rope rescue.
Rope
Explain rope rescue to us.
So rope rescue, if you think about anything like somebody hanging off the side of a cliff because they were rock climbing, or like the window washers when they go on top of the big buildings, and if they get stuck, then we have to go down and save them. Or if you've ever seen one of the large cranes at the top of a big building, if somebody gets stuck up there, then we have to go and save them and bring them down with our ropes.
Wow. Is there like a what is it called on a pulley or a rig on the front of one of those trucks that you could show us? A pulley?
So we have like a winch that's here, but we don't use that to bring anybody up. We use all of our ropes for that. This is if we need to grab a car, or if we get stuck and we need to pull ourselves out.
Talk about grabbing a car. Have you ever had that experience since you've been on? What's grabbing a car? What do you have to do?
If we had to secure a car because maybe the car was leaning over a cliff and about to fall over, and we needed to secure it, that's another way that we could grab a hold of that car utilizing this and other stuff that we have to keep them in place so that we can do whatever we need to save them.
So I've seen that a couple times in my career where a car has gone over a cliff up in Mulholland or in the canyon someplace. I've seen that a few times. But just explain to us, how do you get that winch hooked up to the car? What happens?
So somebody they end up having to go down to the bottom of the cliff. Whenever that happens, we set up our rope. We have all of our bags. We'll put all of our USAR stuff on. We have coveralls and a harness, and they'll actually lower us down on a rope, get there to secure the car and to secure the patient as well.
Show of hands, who would like to be lowered down by that winch, by that rope to go save a car, to save a Alberto? Yeah, that sounds like it'd be really cool, huh? Brother Riley, that sounds like really cool. Go ahead, Lee.
Yeah, I just had a question actually.
Go ahead, ma'am.
My question is, do you guys actually have a dog with you and you take it with you when you save people?
We don't have a dog here at this fire station. I don't believe there's any stations in LA City that have any more dogs. We used to have some dogs, but they're not out there anymore.
I think Jake
had them.
What was that?
What was the purpose of the dogs when you had it? Was it a mascot or were they duty dogs?
Way back in the day, they used to protect the horses.
Go ahead, Jake. I think Jake had a question.
I have a question.
You can't see him.
What'd you say, Jake?
I have a question.
Go ahead, sir.
I don't have a question.
Oh, you don't have a question. Sorry, sorry. I apologize. So the best thing about your job, I know you talked about it earlier, helping people, and you wanted to come on and you wanted to be a civil servant, but talk to us about some of the best things or aspects of your job.
Some of the best things are we get to hang around with, we're basically one big family. So we get to come to work and we get to have fun throughout our day. We all go to our calls together, have fun together throughout the day, enjoying everything from eating together. We get breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Somebody will actually cook in our kitchen. We actually have to rotate cooking to eat, and we also get to go and fight fire. That's why we came on the job, and we get to go and do it whenever the fire happens.
Are the structure fires that you get to fight a lot different than the wildfires up in the hills?
Yeah, so the structure fires are a collective effort inside of a building, and the wildland fires, we actually wear less stuff. We actually have just basically pants, a different type of shirt, and a smaller helmet as well. That helps us be a little more agile, and we don't overheat.
Those brush fires, though, you can be out in those brush fires for a good amount of time, right?
Oh yeah, there's some times where we'll be out there for days. And if we actually travel up north and we go to even the bigger fires up in the forest, then we'll be there for weeks.
Wow. What's that like, being out there for a couple of days or even weeks? What's that like?
Oh, it ends up being fun. It does get tiring, but they end up shifting us usually like 12 on, 12 hours off, or 24 hours on, 24 hours off.
Wow.
And you, go ahead, Lee.
No, I'm saying wow.
Yeah. So, and when you do your rest, then you would go rest at a station? You would go to a local station and get your rest?
No, we get to stay there, and we set up our sleeping bags, or we sleep on the ground, sleep on the cot, sleep in the fire engines, wherever we need to.
So hearing that, boys and girls, does anybody still want to be a fireman? You have to be outside sometimes when there's a fire. You might have to be in the desert or the wilderness. By a show of hands, who still wants to be a fireman?
Me. I have a question.
Go ahead, sir.
Do you do smoke jumpers?
No, so we don't have any smoke jumpers here, but those are usually out in the upper, like northern part of the country, where they need people to be inserted into a fire way deep in there. We don't do any of that, though.
Oh.
Not familiar with what that is. Maybe you can explain that to everybody. What's a smoke jumper?
So a smoke jumper actually will parachute in from an airplane or a helicopter and land right where they need to either help put the fire out, or they help spread the fire to kind of pinch the fire off and let it burn itself out.
Nice. In regards to the fire and the actual helicopters that pass overhead, are they dropping water, or is it a mixture of water and some type of retardant?
So most of the time it's going to be water, but sometimes if they need to kind of cut the fire off, they'll actually drop a fire retardant down that helps eliminate or reduce the spread of the fire.
And what is that retardant? Is it a foam? Is it a disinfectant? What is it?
No, it's a type of foam that ends up getting mixed in there, if you've ever looked at it, it's pink.
So that's what I thought. From my perspective, it looked like it was pink, but I wasn't sure or not.
Yeah, and it likes to dye everything. So if you get sprayed, or if any of your gear gets sprayed, it'll all be pink as well.
Oh, really? Wow. Wow. So Yareli and Yuritsa, you're two of the girls that are on this call. Have you guys thought about being firemen?
Maybe.
Go ahead, Yareli.
I have not thought of being one
I
because I
will.
didn't have much information of like how or like what they. I know they fight fires and save people, but like it wasn't. I didn't know much until like right now. I'm learning some things, so I'm not sure yet.
Good. Do you have any other questions about it?
When you're like fighting fire, have you ever like broken something or like a wall just to save people's lives?
Yeah, sometimes when we go inside of a house or we go inside of any building, and we have to either break down a door or we have to cut down a fence, or also cut open a window. We do all of that so that we can get inside of a building, and also if anybody needs to get out, then that they could also get out as well.
That's a very good question, Yareli. As a police officer, I've seen firemen respond to a lot of different calls, and they don't mind breaking stuff. They actually take joy and pleasure in breaking stuff because, you know, it's part of the perks of their job. Go ahead.
Now, since you know you can break stuff, you want to be a firefighter? Put extra walls, kick down doors, cut people's clothes off. You know, that girl that got the purse that you don't have, cut it right off.
So, Brother Riley, talk to us about women in the job force. Is there a lot of firefighter women? Are they accepted? What is that thinking like in your department?
So we're actually getting more and more women that are joining and wanting to become firefighters on the daily. Actually, we have a recruit class going on right now. I believe a little more than 60 of them, and there's 9 women in there right now. At my fire station, we actually have 3 women that work here. On my shift, we have 2 women that work on my shift with me every day. They both happen to be off today, but normally if you ever came to my fire station on my shift, they work here as well.
And I don't think we asked you, what's the number of your department? What's your call sign?
My fire station is Fire Station 27.
And why 27? Is there significance behind that? Why do they call it 27? How do they
No significance. As they would build stations, they would start numbering them, but some numbers went away, some numbers were added, and we just ended up with 27.
Got it. Yuritsa, did you ever think about being a fire lady?
Yeah. Well, maybe, yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah.
Well, if you guys are ever around here, you guys are always welcome to come check out the station and come check out some more. It looks like somebody has some burning fire in the background.
Hugo again.
Hugo, you're going to have to put some water on it.
Some retardant on it.
Brother Riley, apart from the job, we've spoke a couple times, and you've told me some of your interests. Could you talk about some of your interests, some of your hobbies that you like to do while you're not working?
Well, I'm probably one of those extreme people that I do everything outside. If you name it, I probably do it. Anywhere from mountain biking, cycling, scuba diving, and normally I'm skydiving almost every day off.
Amazing. that skydiving that you explained to me and showed me a photo of, that skydiving is without a parachute. Explain to us what that apparatus is that you wear to jump off of a mountain safely.
So we actually do have a parachute, but what you're talking about is base jumping. So base jumping, we jump off of mountains or cliffs, and we either have a wingsuit or we don't. We could do it what we call slick, which just means we have our parachute on our back, we jump and then we pull. Or we get a wingsuit where it looks like one of those flying squirrels, and we jump off the mountain and fly down the mountain and then pull our parachute when we're ready to land.
That's awesome. I don't, boys and girls, I don't know if you've ever seen that wingsuit. Kevin? Go ahead, Kevin, tell us.
It's like then
What do you do with your arms and legs?
you just do like you just gotta like make a shape of a rectangle.
Arms and legs, is that right, Brother Riley?
That's correct. You, just like a flying squirrel does, you have to extend your arms and your legs so that you could fly and you could glide all the way down the mountain and then pull your parachute.
Kevin, are you interested in that? Is that something you would like to do one day?
Yes.
Well, hopefully Brother Riley can give you some more lessons in regards to that.
Come on out anytime.
Super cool. Super cool. Well, Brother Riley, unless anybody else has any other questions.
I have a question.
Go ahead, sir.
What's the question?
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
My question is, if I want to be a firewoman, what subject do I need to learn at school?
You need to learn all the subjects. You need to learn everything you can. You need to get A's in everything, and after that, you even need to go to college.
How old do you have to be?
You actually only have to be 18 years old, but we always recommend that you go and get additional schooling after, and it'll make you a lot more presentable to the members that are going to select you versus somebody else. So if you have more schooling and more education like college, they're going to pick you over somebody that doesn't.
Is it a requirement now, though?
It's not a requirement to have any college. All you have to do is be 18 with your high school diploma.
But it makes you look better, obviously.
But it makes you look better, and then you also have to have your EMT.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Oh, my question is, what's your favorite part about your job?
Favorite part is helping everybody. Coming to work, and we get to work with, we end up all being friends. You get close to a lot of different people, and we're here with a third of our lifetime, some of us more than others. So you're here a lot of the time, so you get to have fun with the people that you get along with well.
Yeah, and like he said before, it's not just that station. He can go somewhere out in the desert or somewhere in the middle of the city, downtown LA, and get to meet other firemen and women and get to talk to them. And also LAPD is always around, or the LA County Sheriff is around, and we have a good relationship with them. As you can see, he came on our chat just after me asking him earlier this morning. So there's a lot of good camaraderie between departments and between divisions. Anybody else?
Alberto, last question.
What was that?
Alberto has one last question.
Okay.
Do you remember when you guys said that you guys smash walls?
Yeah.
Are you guys like Hulk?
Pretty much, but we have tools that get us through the walls. He gets to smash them with his fist. We get tools to smash them, like an axe.
Oh, but you don't have the Kool-Aid man.
Nope, not like the Kool-Aid man either. He uses his stomach, I think.
That's awesome. You know, before we end our chat, we always leave with our wow. It's called our Words of Wisdom. It's an acronym for our Words of Wisdom. So anything that you can leave our kids with, we know your time is valuable. We know at any moment you can get called out. So we try to get you out of here within an hour. And I appreciate, again, your time. But any words of wisdoms you can leave our kids with, something that will motivate them while they're growing up and hopefully looking for a job or a career opportunity.
Kids, I'd say continue being kids, keep having fun, be active, get out of the house, and do everything you can outside, because that's going to keep you active, keep you in shape. And if you do want to become a firefighter, it'll be that much easier once you're done with high school or if you decide to go to college.
Brother Riley, we totally appreciate it. You couldn't have been any better. Hopefully we can do it again soon, and hopefully we can do it in person with our kids so they can actually touch the trucks and touch some of the fire.
Anytime.
Awesome. Big salute to you, brother.
Look at my back screen.
We'll see you soon.
Bye, kids.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
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 Bye-bye.
Bye, Officer Lee.
Brandon, I'll tell him you said that. I think he already clicked off, but I'll tell him you said that.
Okay.
Awesome.
Bye.
See you. Bye, Escobars.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, Alberto.
Thank you for the meeting.
You're welcome. We'll see you on the next one.
All right, then. Bye.
Bye, Alberto.
Bye.